What would you do if you were surrounded by enemy soldiers, out of time, out of options, and the only thing between them and your friends was you? On a freezing day in January 1945, one U.S. soldier made a choice that would turn him into a legend. Murphy didn't grow up strong or powerful. He was born poor in a tiny town in Texas. 12 kids, one broke family. His father disappeared on and off. His mom tried her best, but it wasn't enough. Murphy dropped out of school after 5 years just to keep the family alive. Then at 16, his mom died. He was left with nothing, no money, no home, no parents. Then came the war, and Murphy made a choice. If the world wouldn't give him anything, he'd fight for everything. He tried to join the Marines, rejected, too small. The Navy, rejected again. But he forged his age, joined the U.S. Army at 17, and they let him in. When he got to the front lines, no one expected much. But this small, quiet kid from Texas turned into something else entirely. He was sent to fight with the 3rd Infantry Division, one of the toughest units. North Africa, Sicily, Italy, France, Germany. Murphy was in the dirt, in the blood, in the fire, for 400 straight days. He didn't hide behind cover. He didn't back down. He became the guy who did the impossible and came back alive. And then came the day everything changed. The sky was quiet, but everyone knew something was coming. Then, a low rumble. It got louder and louder until the ground itself started to shake. 6 German tanks were rolling in. Behind them, a wall of German infantry moving fast, the sound of metal clanking, treads crushing the ground, soldiers shouting in German. It echoed like a nightmare. Company B, Murphy's company, was about to get crushed. He looked around. He had maybe 40 men. The Germans had hundreds. So Murphy made the call. He ordered his men to fall back into the woods. They needed cover, but he stayed. He stayed in front of everything. Right behind him was an American tank destroyer. Then, boom! The tank was ripped open by fire and smoke. The crew ran for their lives. But Murphy ran toward the flames. He climbed up on top of the burning tank, heat blasting his face, smoke pouring into his lungs, and grabbed the .50 caliber machine gun mounted on top. That gun was his only chance. The Germans advanced, thinking they were about to wipe out a weak line. Then, the night exploded. Murphy opened fire. The .50 caliber roared like thunder. German soldiers in the front line dropped instantly. The rest tried to spread out, but Murphy tracked them one by one. They charged from the left. He shredded them. They crept in from the right. He spotted them before they got close. They thought they were surrounding a unit, but it was just one man. Bullets slammed into the metal around him. Shards of steel flew in every direction. The burning tank was groaning, cracking. It could blow up at any second. But Murphy didn't move. He yelled coordinates into the radio, calling in artillery strikes while still firing. Shells started dropping on the German positions, shaking the ground. Murphy was turning the battlefield into a trap. A group of German soldiers tried crawling through the ditch to flank him. They were 10 yards away, close enough to see his face, close enough to kill him. But Murphy saw them first. He squeezed the trigger and didn't let go. They dropped where they stood. For over an hour, Murphy fought like this, one man, against an entire German assault, machine guns smoking hot, a hole ripped in his leg, tank still burning under his feet, enemy fire hammering from 3 sides. But every German soldier who got close died. The Germans started to panic. They thought they were facing some kind of American strong point, but the truth was worse. They were being held off by a single man who refused to die. Then something crazy happened. The German infantry started to fall back. Their tanks stopped advancing. The entire assault stopped. Murphy, bleeding and exhausted, finally climbed down from the wreck. He stumbled back to the tree line, found his men, and instead of resting, he reorganized them for a counterattack. That counterattack pushed the Germans out completely. 1 man, 6 tanks, dozens of soldiers, and he didn't let them take a single inch. When it was over, around 50 German soldiers were dead or wounded, all from Murphy alone. He had held off an entire German attack by himself. For that, he earned the Medal of Honor. And when the war was done, he became the most decorated U.S. soldier of all time. 33 medals, 9 major campaigns, 400 days on the front lines, and a story that still gives soldiers chills to this day. When Murphy came home, he became famous overnight. His face was on magazines. Hollywood came calling. He acted in over 40 movies, including a film about his life, To Hell and Back. But the movie didn't make him a legend. That day in France did. The day when a small kid from Texas stood against an army, and the army broke. Audie Murphy wasn't the biggest, he wasn't the loudest, but when the world fell apart, he was the one who stood his ground. That's why German soldiers feared his name, and why history will never forget him.